In 1970, Soviet scientists began drilling into the Earth. They weren't searching for oil, they weren't looking for gold. They wanted to answer a much bigger question. How deep could humanity actually go? Year after year, the drill pushed deeper. 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, and eventually more than 12 kilometers beneath the surface. But then something happened. After decades of drilling, the project stopped. And what scientists discovered deep beneath our feet was nothing like they expected. To understand why, we have to go back to one of the most ambitious scientific experiments of the Cold War, a project designed not to reach space, but to explore the mysterious world beneath our feet. During the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union were competing everywhere in weapons, technology, science, and space. But while the world watched the race to the moon, another scientific race was taking place in the opposite direction. Instead of reaching toward the stars, scientists wanted to travel as far beneath Earth's surface as technology would allow. In 1970, the Soviet Union began drilling on the remote Kola Peninsula, close to the border with Norway. The project became known as the Kola Superdeep Borehole. Its purpose was purely scientific. Researchers wanted to study the structure of Earth's continental crust, examine ancient rocks, measure temperatures deep underground, and discover what seismic observations could not reveal from the surface. At first, progress was steady. The drill descended through rock that had remained hidden for billions of years. 1 kilometer became 5, 5 became 7. By 1979, the Kola borehole had surpassed the previous world depth record. But the Soviet scientists weren't finished. Their ultimate goal was extraordinary: 15 kilometers beneath the surface. And with every kilometer, the conditions became more extreme. In 1989, the drill reached an astonishing depth of 12,262 meters, more than 12 kilometers below the surface. No human-made borehole had ever reached deeper. But there was a problem. Scientists had expected temperatures at this depth to be around 100 degrees Celsius. Instead, they encountered temperatures close to 180 degrees. Deep underground, the rock was beginning to behave in ways their equipment wasn't designed to handle. At these temperatures, drilling became increasingly difficult. The enormous pressure caused the superheated rock to behave less like solid stone and more like a slowly deforming material. The borehole could become unstable, damaging equipment and making further progress extremely difficult. The dream of reaching 15 kilometers was slipping away. Eventually, drilling stopped at 12,262 meters, leaving the Soviet team nearly 3 kilometers short of their original goal. But the project was far from a failure. The deeper scientists drilled, the more Earth's crust challenged what they thought they knew. Seismic studies suggested that granite should eventually give way to basalt. Scientists expected the drill to cross this boundary, but it never did. Instead, they discovered that Earth's crust was far more complex than their models had predicted. Then came another surprise. Deep inside the rock, scientists found evidence of water. This wasn't water that had simply leaked down from the surface. Under immense pressure, water had been trapped within fractures in the ancient crust. Even kilometers beneath our feet, the Earth was proving to be far more dynamic than anyone had imagined. But years later, a much darker story began spreading around the world. According to the legend, Soviet scientists lowered a microphone deep into the borehole. What they supposedly recorded was terrifying. Thousands of human voices screaming from somewhere beneath the earth. Soon people began calling Kola the well to hell. It's a chilling story, but there's one problem. It isn't true. There is no credible evidence that scientists recorded screams inside the Kola borehole. The so-called sounds of hell became an urban legend, repeated through newspapers, television, and eventually the internet. The real reason drilling stopped wasn't supernatural. It was science, engineering, and extreme heat. 12 kilometers sounds incredibly deep, but compared with the Earth itself, it's almost nothing. The distance from the surface to Earth's center is roughly 6,371 kilometers. The Kola borehole reached less than 0.2% of that distance. After decades of engineering, humanity had barely scratched the surface of its own planet. Today, the Kola Superdeep Borehole is abandoned. The research facility that once surrounded it has fallen into ruin, and the entrance to the deepest journey humanity ever made into Earth's crust is now sealed beneath a metal cover. It may not look impressive from the surface, but beneath that cover lies more than 12 kilometers of human ambition. And perhaps that's the most fascinating part of the story. We have sent spacecraft billions of kilometers into space. We've landed machines on Mars and photographed worlds at the edge of our solar system. Yet beneath our own feet lies a world we can barely reach. Kola showed us that exploring Earth can be just as difficult and just as mysterious as exploring space. More than 50 years after the drilling began, Kola remains a reminder of how little we truly know about the world beneath us. More than 6,000 kilometers of Earth still remain beyond our reach. And perhaps the greatest mysteries aren't always above us. Sometimes they're right beneath our feet. Stay curious. Go beyond the known.